So I'm in this class and this woman says, hey guys, while you're here this week, be sure to be present. Don't be on your phones, be 100% here. And listen, I know that you all got a lot of busyness going on back home. You know, some of you have families, you've got work, some of us have businesses. And so do your best to be present while you're here. Now, when I heard her say, we have a lot of busyness back home, and in the same sentence saying we have businesses, something clicked. And I realized busyness and business are the same exact word. And I realized that part of why in the past I felt so busy in my busyness is because it's the exact same thing. Now here's the next breakthrough that I had. When people ask me what I do, I say I run a business that does hypnotherapy for entrepreneurs and business owners to help them level up in their lives. And we also teach people how to do these methods, right? So I say I run a business. So let's break that down. Run, does that sound organized? Does it sound grounded? No, you're running. So it feels like you're always behind. It feels like you're constantly tired and out of breath. So I went from running a busyness. And here's the other breakthrough I had. What I realized is that I no longer run a busyness. I now own an organization. Hit the like button if you're understanding what I'm saying and you're feeling the difference in those two words. Running a business versus owning an organization. Those are on two different frequencies. And I know it may be subtle, however, words matter. And if you're constantly telling yourself you run a busyness, you're going to be running and be busy a lot. When you say to yourself, I own an organization, now that starts at the top and the organization begins to trickle down all throughout your organization. Now, where did this come from? Well, a few weeks ago, I went on a spiritual journey. And no, I didn't do ayahuasca or mushrooms or psychedelics. I actually don't believe in doing any of that for personal development. I went to this place, and I'll keep it to myself for now. It was a very, very powerful experience. And the lesson I just shared with you there was literally the very first day, within the very first hour of this experience. And within that first hour, I got the breakthrough, one of the biggest breakthroughs that I've ever had in my life. Again, when she said busyness and business are the same thing, I said, no wonder. Now, in this video, I'm going to share with you some more of the lessons that I got, which were so profound. It was so helpful for me. And I know it's going to be helpful for you along your journey of developing your own organizations and scaling and growing as an entrepreneur, as a business owner, as well as a human being. So let's dive into the training. So to give you some context around this, I spent 7 days doing this process, and it was a lot of meditation, a lot of self-reflection. It was basically 12, 14 hours a day. And to do this thing that I did, it was about $24,000. So I'm going to give you some insight of a $24,000 investment that I made into myself and about 70 hours of self-reflection and the lessons that I got by doing this. So let's dive into the rest of the lessons. So there was a day where we were doing hikes, and we were hiking around this property. And one of the things that I realized is as I was on this hike, you know, on the trail, there's a lot of, we'll say, animal feces. Yes? There's animal feces, there's potholes from groundhogs, there's rattlesnakes, and I didn't see any, but there are some on the property. You got cliffs, so there's a lot of things going on, right? And the challenge is that as you're hiking on this trail, if you're looking out there at everything else, you're looking at the view, you're going to most likely step in some feces. And I realized as I was going through this trail and I tried to start looking up at out there what was going on, that I was going to put myself in a world of, you know what, here in the moment. And so the metaphor that I had is I said, oh my goodness, this is a metaphor for my life. Sometimes I know that we can get so focused on what's out there, whether it's other people, comparing ourselves, or even what's in the future, right? What's way over there, that we forget about the 2 steps in front of us. And because we're so focused on the future, we step in a lot of feces in the now. And so here's the next lesson I get. This is all in the same walk. I'm walking, I'm saying, okay, I gotta just focus on the 2 steps in front of me. Just take that next step. Don't worry about what's out there. Don't focus on what's out there. Focus on what's right now. Now, as I was walking, another thing I realized, I said, well, if I'm only focused on the 2 feet in front of me, that's good, except I miss the beauty of what's happening all around. I miss the beauty of the views and the experience and everything that I'm taking in. And also to see what's ahead, right? To see the twists and turns and the things that may come along this hike. So I realize that trying to walk while I'm navigating this trail, trying not to step in holes and things like this, while also simultaneously looking out what's way out there, is very challenging. So what I realized, the balance is this. You ever heard the saying, stop and smell the roses? Well, there's an important word in there, and that is the word stop. So what does that mean? What I realize is that rather than trying to do both, in other words, focusing on the 2 feet in front of me while simultaneously looking out there, I've got to stop and then look at the beauty around me. To pause and be in the present moment rather than trying to do both. Rather than trying to take the steps of navigating this trail while simultaneously enjoying and taking in what I'm seeing outside of me. So I realized this moment of just take the next step. Just focus on what's here in front of me. Now, the next thing that I got in this powerful walk that I did, this is actually the very first thing that came up. I'm walking and I'm walking and I'm walking. And by the way, this whole process that we did, it was with a big group of people. There was 30 of us or so. And it was a silent walk, a silent meditation. So you're hiking up to this hill, nobody's talking to anybody. You hike back down, nobody talks to anybody. And then actually you have breakfast. And during breakfast, nobody talks to anybody. So you're silent for about 3 hours. So I'm walking on this trail. One of the first things I hear, even before the lesson I just gave you, was silence the mind to illuminate the path. Silence the mind to illuminate the path. Silence the mind to illuminate the path. And this was looping over and over and over. And what I realize is that it's kind of like the metaphor. A metaphor I could give you is, you know, you ever been driving and you got the music blasting and you're looking for a new address or somewhere you've never been before. And when you're driving, you're like looking for the address and you just can't seem to see it or find it. What do we typically do if the music's too loud? We actually turn down the music so we can see better. Isn't that funny? Actually, hype this video if you know what I'm talking about. Have you ever done that before? Or let me know in the comments. You're like, I'm driving, everything's really loud, and I can't really see where I'm going, so I got to turn down the music so I can see. Well, here's what I realize. In order for us to see our path, to illuminate our path, whether it's the next step or the decision we're going to make, the future that we're creating, which road to go down, we've got to silence the mind. This means no social media or, little social media. This means not listening to YouTube videos while you're driving or listening to music. Silence the mind so you can see your path. So I'm walking. The next thing I hear, and I'm just hearing this is like coming in like downloads. It's crazy. I can hear it as clear as you can hear me now. Next thing I hear is, close your eyes so you can see. Close your eyes so you can see. Close your eyes so you can see. And I thought to myself, what does that mean? Close my eyes so I can see. If I close my eyes, I won't be able to see. Here's the thing. Often we go through life, we're making decisions with our eyes open. And we're very much in our conscious mind, and we're sort of processing millions of bits of information every second. And when we do that, it's challenging to really tap into what are the right decisions? What's the move to make? Because we're taking in, even right now, if I look over here, I'm taking everything in here in my office. If I look right here, I'm taking everything in. If I look over here, so my brain's having to process all this. So how do I see clearer? How do I actually see the vision of what I'm creating? Is to close my eyes so I can see. Close my eyes so I can see. Close my eyes so I can see. So I'm hearing all these different things. And then there's more lessons. For the purpose of this video, I'm going to share with you one. If I get some good feedback, I'll share it in another segment, another video. So here was the biggest the biggest, or one of the biggest for sure, revelations I had. So, I was talking about walking on this trail and seeing the feces and the potholes and the potential danger. And so I had to just focus on here, not out there, focus on here. And if I do want to look out there, stop. So when I first arrived at this place, one of the things that was said was, you've got to focus on letting go of the past, right? You got to let go of your regrets, your negative emotions, the resentments that you have. You got to forgive people. You got to just let go of the past. And that's a lot of the work that we do in our hypnosis, whether people work with me or one of our team members, or we train people in this process. A lot of it is letting go of the past. You're going through, you're clearing out the subconscious blocks and barriers and negative emotions, fears, all that kind of stuff. And I have done so much work, so much work on letting go of the past. I mean, there's very few people, I would imagine, that have done more personal work than myself on letting those things go. So going into this week, I thought to myself, man, I have let go of so much in the past. I don't know what I'm holding on to. Like, I don't feel like there's any resentments or anything that I'm holding on to. I've let go of so much. So I'm just sitting there for the first couple of days and I have no idea what I need to let go of. And then it hit me. And here's what I realized. I'm really, really good at letting go of the past. Excellent. I'd say one of the best in the world at it. Except I rarely focus on letting go of the future. Letting go of the how and the when and the why and the fears and the anxieties. And I constantly am living in that future. Again, just like walking on that trail, looking out there instead of the 2 feet in front of me, and worried about the expectations and what's going to happen and what if this and what if this and what if this. And so the biggest lesson that I got, at least one of the biggest, was yes, let go of the past, and also just let go of the future. Just stop the worrying, stop the anxiety, stop the overthinking, and just let go of the future. And don't get me wrong, we still got to think about the future. We've got to plan, we've got all those things. And once we've done that, let it go. So I would invite you to let go of whatever it may be you're holding on to. Let go of the worry about your finances, or the worry about what's going to happen in your relationship, or the worry about your health, because as we all know, holding on to it and worrying about it even more is only going to make it worse. So type down below if you're understanding this message. Let go of the future. All right, guys, send this to somebody who needs to hear it. And again, maybe I'll make a part 2 of this video and share with you the rest of the lessons I learned in this spiritual journey. All right, guys, we'll see you in the next video.